What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Breakpoint Breakdown. We are going to be going over the semifinals at the Australian Open. What an incredible day we had. The tournament was so lackluster it felt coming into it. In fact, we didn't even have a five-setter on Rod Laver Arena until that first semifinal between Sasha Zverev and Carlos Alcaraz. And two captivating matches, so many different storylines, narratives changing as the matches went out. And obviously, throughout the tournament, I've been doing the quick roundups, but these matches were way too long, way too nuanced, too much to get into them. So there was no way I could cover them through the quick roundup. So we're going to be doing a live stream in this case for this one, which I'm really excited about. And I do have a reoccurring guest waiting in the wings. Actually, Chase, he's waiting in the wings, so we're going to get to him very shortly. But what we're going to do in this stream is we're basically going to go over Alcaraz versus Zverev first. Now, that's the one that we both actually had the chance to watch just because of our time zone. And then Djokovic versus Sinner, we'll go over that as well. And then at the end, I'm going to go over the final preview because Chase is going to have to dip. But really excited for this. And without further ado, I'm now going to bring in Chase. So Chase, how are you doing, man? What a day we had yesterday.
Yeah, man, it was really something to watch Alcaraz come back against Zverev. That was incredible to watch. I mean, there's a lot to go, there's a lot to like break down, so it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to getting into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff. Alcaraz Zverev. I mean, at one point, it really we all thought it was going to finish in straight sets, and then Alcaraz somehow gets over the line, 7-5 in the fifth. We were losing words for that. I mean, by the way, we were texting the entire time as this match was unfolding. 5.5 hours. It was a late night finish for us in the States. But Alcaraz Zverev, what are your kind of just early thoughts on that match?
I mean, yeah, Alcaraz Zverev. I mean, coming into it, I was like, okay, Alcaraz probably going in straights. I mean, he hasn't dropped a set until that match. So I was thinking, okay, like first set in and wins like 6-4 or whatever. Second set wins in a tiebreak, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, tiebreak.
Yeah, and after that, he starts cramping halfway through the third. I'm like, oh, we're under the Mercedes situation. But no, Alcaraz ends up pulling through it, and then he's able to bring Zverev to tiebreak, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so the middle sets, the second, third, and fourth sets were all tiebreaks, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and keep in mind, Carlos was serving like maybe 110 max on his first serve, if that.
Yeah, I don't think he was getting to 110. It was about 100 on average. That fourth set specifically was about 100, his average first serve. We'll actually take a look at it exactly because I'm going to pull up the stats here in a second. In fact, actually, let's get to the stats for this one. So here we go. We got Alcaraz and Zverev as we take a look at the stats. Obviously, the Australian Open website has them, and you can access them as well if you would like. So you have the match course, 5 hours and 27 minutes of incredible action. So as we take a look at the stats, as we look at the aces, Zverev 17, Carlos 12. No real surprises there. I mean, are you surprised Carlos served 12 aces?
Not really. I mean, I kind of expect that from him coming into it. I mean, his serve is drastically increased actually since the U.S. Open and since Wimbledon last year. So, I mean, I was expecting that coming into it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's further go through these. 5 doubles from Alcaraz, 4 from Zverev. Now, 4 from Zverev is actually quite low, but the 4 came in some pretty crucial stages, it felt like.
Yeah,
Especially, it was particularly that first set at 4-all when Zverev got broken. He served 2 doubles in that game. That was very, very crucial. So we have that. Zverev 72%. We know Zverev always gets to that 70% marker on his first serve. They both won a healthy number of first serve points. I tell you what, Alcaraz, he can really pump it on his first serve. I mean, his fastest serve only 3 kilometers less than Sasha Zverev.
Yeah, his leg power on his serve is insane, bro. It's his load up. He has pinpoint, dude. When he gets pinpoint, he actually gets off, dude. It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 200. Okay, we have this. Okay, winners on forced errors. 78 winners from Alcaraz. I mean, that middle of the third set, when the cramps started happening, we believe it's cramps, and then the fourth set. he was literally, there were either two things happening. He was just standing there and just going for broken hitting winners, or he was hitting drop shots. One of those two things were happening. And a lot of the times he was getting winners off of that, which is just insane to think about.
Even the return, too, we saw some return winners.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the third, he would just rip a return winner on Zverev off his back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I watching? Like,
yeah. What do you make of the way Zverev played in those third and fourth sets? Now, he did come away with the win in both of those sets, but they were very tight, both tie breaks.
yeah, no, I mean, I don't think he played very high quality, to be honest with you. I think he could have drop shot a lot more. He could have been much more tactical with it. Could have at least like served and volleyed if he gets a first. I mean, he was missing first too. It wasn't common from the hitter first in those couple sets. I mean, he was missing first serves left and right. He was allowing Alcaraz to be able to return those balls. I mean, he's gonna get some points eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I just felt like Zverev continued that passive play that we see from him. Now he did improve that in the fifth set, which was quite a sight to see. But unfortunately for him, that's when Alcaraz started to get healthier and he improved his play as well. And Alcaraz, it just seemed like as the fifth set wore on, his level was just rising. And unfortunately for Zverev, his fitness and his health was fading, and that contributed pretty mightily because he did lead, of course, 5-3 in the fifth.
You know, by that time, Alcaraz had his sixth gear was over. I was halfway into the fifth. I was like, no, it's over.
Okay, so we did miss kind of the second set, and the second set actually, if you in hindsight, might have been the most crucial part of this match because Zverev led 5-2 in the second set, and he failed to serve it out. And had he served it out, he potentially could have gotten this match done in 4, given what happened to Carlos. So is Zverev going to be thinking about that second set when he's going to sleep?
I mean, knowing his mental resilience to at least like not like I haven't seen him get like that least mad in a match like that in a while. So knowing his mental resilience now, I don't think it'll hang on him that much. I think he'll be upset. But I mean, he said in an interview too, when a guy was trying to press him about his reaction to Carlos and the whole cramp thing, he was like, "Well, he's played one of the best Australian Open matches ever. I don't think he should be talking about that right now." So mentally, I think he's fine. I don't think he's tripping that much over it. But I mean, yeah, it was. I don't think it will affect him that much, to be honest. I don't think it will.
Yeah, so that, for me, I felt like that second set was crucial for Sasha Zverev, but like you said, and we're going to get to that, the whole heat rule controversy in a second, because that was a massive part of this match, even though it ultimately didn't really, even though Zverev was able to get that win in the third set, it was still a massive part of this match. But I think Zverev is going to be thinking about that second set. And also, when you mentioned the press conference thing, I think that was very just props to Zverev for that answer.
Oh, yeah. For the answer, yeah.
Okay, so Alcaraz pulls away the second set. Now at this point, we're going into the third set, and it's looking like Carlos is going to cruise. Zverev is just holding on, but both guys are kind of cruising on serve as we go on. And at 3-2, Alcaraz holds, and there's a changeover, and he vomits into his towel, and that's the first sign we're seeing of some physical deterioration from the Spaniard. And so that happens. Then they start playing, and then 3-2, kind of 3-all. Alcaraz, he's looking like he's struggling with the heat. That's what it seemed like. You know, he wasn't putting 100% into some returns and some serves. And then I believe, was it 3-all deuce when we first saw him pulling up on his leg?
I believe so.
I know it was 3-all. I can't remember exactly where in the game they were.
It wasn't a crucial point. It wasn't a crucial point. I remember that. I'm pretty sure it was 3-all.
Yeah, it must have been deuce then in that 3-all game where Alcaraz
It was crucial.
pulled up on his leg. And at first, it's kind of still unclear whether it was an actual injury or whether he was just cramping. Because remember, he did get that medical timeout, which we'll get to in a second.
There was speculation about it being a groin injury as well.
Yeah. Of course, Musetti also had that groin injury, so it did kind of look similar to his. So you had that. So that's when Carlos starts pulling up on his leg. And then it's very clear. At the time, it did look like cramps with the way his body was kind of reacting and the way he was walking around. And if you watched his serve, I mean, he was barely putting any weight into it at that point. His left knee was bending over. I mean, you could tell he couldn't put weight into it. And he was serving. I mean, actually, let's take a look at these stats now. What were his serve speeds in that? Let's go to third set. Let's see if anything changed there in terms of...
I'm guessing like 95, 100, if that.
Okay, 196 kilometers, of course.
Oh, like,
So you know what? Let me look at the fourth set. That might be better because that's the kind of the one set where he was physically compromised the entire set.
yeah.
198. Okay, maybe he wasn't serving that low then. He might have been maybe 110 seems about correct.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah. So 110 in the third and fourth sets. Now, this is kind of where Zverev could have definitely more capitalized. It felt like he should have been better on return. He wasn't making Alcaraz. Well, Alcaraz was going for the shots, but he wasn't pushing Alcaraz. He was kind of just giving Carlos the opportunity. It felt like.
Yeah. I mean, Zverev, he wasn't putting any pace in the ball, to be honest with you. It was just Carlos being the aggressor for the entire time. I mean, come like the fifth set, Zverev starts to get pace in the ball, and it's too late by that time. I mean, Carlos is already getting back into it. We saw him return backhand winners and forehand winners up the return. There were even a couple points. You see the one, I think it was like an overhead point where they hit a ball like that. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was later in the match, but yeah. Yeah.
It was insane. Yeah, I mean, it's just if you're gonna give out an offensive player like Alcaraz that many opportunities, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, you are cooked if you do that.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's get to the critical juncture in that third set. Carlos holds at 5-0 for 6-5. He's struggling like crazy. It's very evident. And the trainer comes out. Now, the rule is if you have cramps, you're allowed to get treatment, but you're not allowed a medical timeout. But Carlos Alcaraz was given a medical timeout for about 4 to 5 minutes. And Sasha Zverev, rightfully so, just absolutely lost it on the umpire and on the referees. So, do you think Alcaraz knew it was cramps? Because Alcaraz said he thought it was an injury and he didn't think it was cramps. What do you make of that?
I don't know. That's where it gets like ethically kind of fishy for me.
Yeah.
I mean, as a player, I would think you would feel if your legs are cramping or if your groin's cramping. It could have been a thigh cramp, and then he could have confused it with a groin injury. I don't know. That's still up for interpretation. The whole situation is kind of like it's weird. It's really weird. I mean, I want to go with and say that Alcaraz is like gonna be a nice guy. He's being honest, but I mean, in the end of the day, you'll never know, and he might have been lying. Who knows?
Yeah. I would hope that as well. But Zverev, I mean, he basically went as far as saying that Sinner and Alcaraz are being protected by the establishment.
Earlier too.
Essentially, and that's the question that you were referring to, by the way, that he was asked about in the press conference, and he kind of swept that away, which was very nice to see. But he did kind of go as far as saying that, and look, of course, heat of the moment, we know how it is in those tough moments, and so I totally understand Sasha's frustration because, I mean, to all of us, it did look like cramps the way he was walking around,
100%.
and apparently he was drinking pickle juice as well. So, I mean, we'll never fully know, I guess, but there's a real gray area over this one. It's kind of being compared to the heat rule for Sinner, which I kind of felt like that was more objective because they had the whole heat rule and the scale and all of that. But yeah, this was a really fascinating part of the match, and
It's very, very, very gray area.
yeah, gray area for sure. And Zverev actually did well, though, to compartmentalize at that moment because he starts coming back to serve after about 5 minutes. He's furious, and he gets down love 30 pretty quickly, and Carlos is 2 points away all of a sudden from getting the match, and he regroups really well, comes back to win that game. I believe he holds at 30, actually. And then they go into the tiebreak, and fortunately for Sasha Zverev, he's able to eke that one out, and they go into the fourth set. And this is the set now where Alcaraz is kind of for the entire set pretty much hampered. But again, Zverev just not doing much to make Carlos work for it. I mean, I believe like it was almost every Alcaraz service game, Zverev had chances. He was having chances to break, but he couldn't get it done.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like I said, bro. Zverev was playing passive until the fifth. He wasn't making any form of regression at all. It was really sad to see. I mean, you think he would be able to take advantage of Carlos like that, but no. I mean, he stayed true to his form since like 2024, bro. There's no aggression in his ball at all.
Yeah. So before, I know we're gonna get to the fifth set in a second, but since we're bringing up Zverev being passive until the fifth, do you think that if Zverev wasn't physically struggling and fading in that fifth set, do you think he still would have reverted to the passiveness had he have not been fading?
Yes, I personally do. Granted that when he was physically fit, he was still hitting the ball very passively. There wasn't any what's the word I'm looking for? It's like and there wasn't any anticipation like actually go for the ball and like hit a winner. He was just playing, like
no conviction.
Yeah, there's no conviction.
Yeah.
10 plus balls, maybe Alcaraz will miss, but he's going for an inside out forehand. Who knows? Like, yeah, there's no real aggression.
Yeah. Okay, so the fourth set, they kind of just Zverev. It's just very frustrating to see from Zverev because he can't get the break because he's making inroads in all these Alcaraz service games. He's having chances, but he can't capitalize. And Alcaraz is continuing to just hold, and you could see the entire match from the start of when he cramped to even when he was starting to look better. He believed the entire time, and we were talking about just how amazing that was. And you talked about him having that Spanish bull in him, that Rafa and even some other Spaniards like Ferrer had him in him. Yeah.
I mean, it's a Spanish mentality. They're built different, bro. When they're locked in their passion, bro. Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and Carlos has that famous line, of course, when he lost that Cincinnati final to Novak a few years ago. He said, "Spanish never die," and that was very evident in this semifinal match against Sasha Zverev. And great fighting spirit from Alcaraz, great belief, because you could tell he believed the entire time, and he continued to fire up the crowd. We didn't really see any of that from Zverev, and I know that's not really his thing of getting the crowd involved, but I think that maybe could have helped him, because the crowd was just, it felt like becoming more pro Alcaraz as the match wore on.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just how Carlos works, too. You see him smiling and ripping
the
whole time while he's, like, cramped. I mean, of course, you can do nothing but cheer for the guy.
Yeah. Okay, so Zverev, 4-set tiebreak. It's another one that he kind of just ekes out. And now we get to the 5th set. And in my opinion, and I think you would agree, this was the highest quality set out of all of them. I don't know exactly how to winners to unforced errors, but in terms of just them hitting from the baseline, it definitely felt like the highest quality, even if some of them maybe ended in errors. And Zverev comes out of the gate immediately and breaks. And he's looking good. He breaks, he holds, it's 2-love. But I tell you what, you just never felt like Alcaraz was really going to lose this match. Even when Zverev was up 5-3 in that 5th set and he served for it, it still never felt like Zverev was a sure thing to get this done.
Yeah, no, especially with his first serve percentage, there was a looming feeling Alcaraz was going to get a break back when he was up 5-3.
Yeah, actually, let me take a look. What was his first serve percentage in that 5th set?
I don't know, but at least I know from before it may seem high, but when it was first serve on the pressure points like 30-all, 15-all, he was not hitting their first serves in. Okay,
it was 69%, so it was about his average.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but again, he's served much higher than that in matches of this caliber. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And when he beat Alcaraz 2 years ago here, he served 85% first serves.
Yeah, go figure. Right?
Yeah. So Zverev starts off with a break, but look, the key thing here that we could tell that this wasn't over was how they were holding in their service games. Zverev, every single service game it felt like was going to deuce it. Alcaraz was having break points, just couldn't quite capitalize on those Alcaraz. He was making some pretty, actually, the errors that we were seeing from him, he was really going for it, but he was just missing. And so you felt like he was right there, but just missing on those crucial points. But Zverev was just continuing to hold by the skin of his teeth. But then once we got to the Alcaraz service games, Carlos was holding every time at 15 at love. He was really good on his serve in the 5th set. And for me, when I was watching, I was like, can Zverev just get the double break? Because if Zverev can get the double break, the match is over. Yeah. I was just hoping, like, can Zverev get the double break? Or is he going to have to cope with some embarrassment? And unfortunately, it was the latter. And so Zverev, they keep holding every service game close for Zverev. Alcaraz really good. And then we get to 5-4 where Zverev finally cracks. And by the way, this entire 5th set, Zverev is just fading physically like the entire time.
He can't move as he was before. Yeah, and you see Alcaraz's legs start to kick up. He's actually moving around the courts.
Yeah, Alcaraz was just, it was weird because Alcaraz, you wouldn't have thought of this because of the cramps, but he was getting better and Zverev was the one that was fading. Yeah, and so 5-4, Zverev starting for it. That's when the nerves are at its peak, and unfortunately, that's where he cracked. And Carlos capitalized. They got to 5-all. Carlos held, and then he got to match point in that 6-5 game with just some more incredible hitting. And then, of course, the match point, very reminiscent to the 2025 Roland Garros final against Jannik Sinner. So very poetic. And we actually, when we were talking about it, I compared it and I said, this match kind of feels similar to RG because the scoreline, if you look at it, it's almost the same.
Very
It's
similar, yeah.
yeah, only that in RG the third set was 6-4, and of course the fifth set was a tiebreak. But other than that, it was actually a very similar scoreline. So they played a great match. Carlos Alcaraz, what an effort from the Spaniard. He's the youngest. He's the youngest man ever now to make all 4 major finals. Do you know who he took the record from, by the way?
Is it a more recent player, like 2000?
Yeah, yeah.
At all?
It was Sinner. Sinner actually had the record. Sinner got it at Wimbledon last year, so he had it for 6 months, and now, of course, Carlos takes it from him.
Yeah, I remember you told me about that, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So Sinner had it for 6 months. Rafa, of course, had it before Sinner, and then Carlos has it now. And, of course, Carlos is bidding to become the youngest man ever to win the career slam on Sunday. So we've got a treat to look forward to. And with that, let's actually move now over to the second semifinal. Djokovic against Jannik Sinner. And Novak Djokovic, the undisputed GOAT, somehow pulls off this victory against the 2-time defending champion, the most dominant hardcourt player over the last 2 years. And let's not forget also, some people, I didn't see much of this, but I think people forget, Sinner was actually on a 20-match winning streak coming into this one.
The Australian, yeah, I mean, dude, he was steamrolling everybody.
Yeah. And Novak Djokovic finds his best level in a 5-setter, and he wins 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, and then 6-4, 6-4 in the last 2 sets. And we were talking about this earlier today, of course, and as we of course, we weren't able to watch this because it was very late for us on the Pacific Coast in the States, so we didn't quite get a chance to watch this one. But as we were looking through the stats, everything was either even or it was in Sinner's favor, except for one thing, which Sinner is going to rue. And let's take a look at that right now. It's the break points conversion rate for Jannik Sinner, and we're not quite used to seeing this from him. But let's get to that.
You know what it reminds me of, actually? It reminds me of Fritz in the U.S. Open versus Djokovic as well.
Yeah, exactly. He had a lot of break point chances, couldn't convert until that third set.
Yeah.
But there you have it. You can see right there. 2 for 18 on break points, 11% converted. That's a bad stat for Sinner. That's the one he's going to rue out of all of the other ones.
That's the one made him lose, too, yeah.
Yeah. Let's actually go through the other stats because they're kind of mind-boggling. I mean, serving, look at the aces from Sinner. 26, that's a career high from him, and he still can't get the win. Djokovic serving as well, but not as many aces as Sinner.
26 from Jannik is insane, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is consistent, but it's not winner consistent. It's like, it'll set him up for points. Max.
Okay, first serve percentage in, 75% for Sinner, 70% for Novak. And as I look at the serve percentage in on the first serve, I remember at Roland Garros when they played last year, when Sinner took him out in straight sets, his first serve percentage was only 51%, and he won in straights. And now he's serving 75% here in Australia, and he loses in 5. I just don't know how to make sense of that.
Honestly, I think it's a service difference. Sinner could win more angles on play, pull Djokovic off.
Yeah, that is true.
I feel like that was a difference. The deciding factor for me, at least. But yeah.
Yeah. But look, Sinner's serving better than Novak. He's making more of his first serves. He's winning more on the first serve, 80% to Novak's 71. What else? Oh, yeah, winners on forced errors. That was massive. Okay, they both hit 42 errors, but look at the difference in the winners. Djokovic 46, Sinner 72, Sinner plus 30 on winners to unforced errors. I don't think I've ever seen a player lose a match being plus 30 on winners to unforced errors.
I know, it's a phenomenon. It's really insane.
Okay, is there any other stats? Total points won, I guess, would be the other one. Sinner winning 12 more points, 152 to 140. So that, again, it just highlights how tennis is not about who wins more points. It's about who wins the most important points. And, of course, in this one, it was Djokovic who won those points. Yeah. Similar to Roland Garros, Sinner won more points in that one as well in the final and couldn't come away with the win. Okay, so slow start for Djokovic here. Sinner came out of the gates pretty good, 6-3. Second set, when we're kind of going to go over the break points in this one, the ones that Sinner had and how he couldn't convert, because actually, when Djokovic broke at 2-1 to go up 3-1, Sinner had a love 40 opportunity immediately to break, and he couldn't quite get it done there. Now, the second set is not as crucial because he did go on to win the third. I think the last two sets are going to be more crucial because it was 10 break points that Djokovic faced in the fourth and fifth set combined, and he saved all of them. So that was really impressive from him. I guess the fifth set is probably where we should focus on.
Yeah, there's pressure differential. I will say though, before I do depart, I will say Djokovic winning this to anybody that any Fidel fans or anything this is Djokovic's coup de grace. If he ends up beating Alcaraz for the 25th too, there's no fan nostalgia, anything, and nothing at all can stop people from saying Djokovic is a GOAT if he beats Alcaraz in this final. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, and if Djokovic does go on to win it, do you think he could retire if he wins on Sunday?
Yes, I think he 100% is going to retire.
You think it's a 100% he's going to retire?
Yeah, I think it's 100%.
Because go ahead.
I don't see him playing Roland Garros. He doesn't
Okay.
have a chance for Roland Garros against Sinner and Carlos.
Yeah.
And Wimbledon, forget about it. They're way too fast.
Okay, so you think it's 100% if he wins it? Because he said multiple times, he wants to continue playing until he's 40. He's talked about stuff like that. So we'll see. I mean, he could have a change of heart, but the break points in the fifth set I want to go over because Sinner had break points at the start of the fifth in both Djokovic's first and second service game. I do want to stress, though, that the break points was more about Novak getting on offense first over Sinner and getting on it immediately and pushing Sinner into the corners, and Jannik not quite having the defense, unfortunately, to kind of prolong the points and counterpunch, I guess, if you will, a little bit more. But the break points definitely were more about Djokovic being on offense, and it definitely started with the serve for Novak because I think he served incredibly well. Even though he wasn't near where Sinner was, I think Novak's serve was actually really, really good as well.
Yeah, this ball serving is efficient, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Chase, it's been a great time having you here. Unfortunately, you've got to go, but hopefully we'll have you on shortly in the near future. But I'm going to finish this off, everyone. But thank you, Chase, for joining us, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you for having me. I will see you probably very soon, yeah. All right. See you. Thank you.
All right, just give me a second, everyone. Okay, so as we were discussing, Djokovic, Sinner, and the break points in the fifth set, it really was more about Novak. There was one in the fifth set, and unfortunately, I would love to show it, but I can't. I believe it was at 2-1. It was 15-40 Novak serving, and he serves. Sinner returns a cross-court return. Djokovic has a forehand. Kind of, he has a chance to be aggressive with this one. And I think Sinner thinks he's going to go down the line, but he actually goes back cross. And Sinner does have a good shot at the ball, but I think he just caught Sinner a little bit off guard. And Sinner couldn't quite get the forehand into the court, and he missed it long. So there was one there, and then 4-3, Djokovic broke at 3-all. And 4-3, he's serving now, and Sinner goes up love 40 immediately, and he's got three chances to come right out of the gate and break back, but he can't capitalize. And Djokovic, on all of these points, is really just the offensive one, and he's finding the offense, coming to the net, putting away volleys, putting away overheads. and just really doing his best to try to be aggressive, because he was starting to lose his legs, it felt like, towards the end of this match, and he was still able to come away with the win by being aggressive on his serve and in the most important moments, because there were you probably felt like, as we got towards the end, that he wasn't going to put much effort into Sinner service games and kind of just focused on his serve, and that's exactly what he did. And he came away with it. That final service game could have gotten tricky for him because he did have 2 match points early. Sinner fought back, got it to deuce, but Novak finding the clutchness in those last couple points and putting him away on his 3rd match point, and just a heroic effort from the Serbian to move into yet another Australian Open final, and he's into his 11th Australian Open final now, actually, and he's 10-0 in his previous Australian Open final, so he's never lost one. What a tantalizing final we've got on our prospects between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic, and we'll preview it in a second, but just more on Djokovic. This is a real, I mean, when Djokovic is retired and we look back at some of his last wins, this is going to go down as one of his biggest wins ever. I mean, he's playing Jannik Sinner, as we mentioned, most dominant player on hard courts in the last 2 years. You know, one of the most dominant players on tour, winning 4 out of the last 9 slams now. Of course, after this one, it'll be 4 out of the last 9 for Sinner. So, what a win for Djokovic, finding his best in the crucial moments. Remember, he hadn't even won a set in the last 2 years against Sinner, and now he finds himself a winner here. For Sinner, look, it's going to be disappointing. He said in the press conference later, he said, you know, it's disappointing, but, you know, congrats to Novak, as you would expect from the Italian. And I think he'll be fine going forward, you know. Again, it's the break points that he's going to rue, because if you look at all the other metrics like we did, he was just better in every category but the break points, and Djokovic was able to win the crucial ones. And that's, of course, what tennis is all about. It's not about how many points you win, it's which points you win. And in this case, it was Djokovic that came out victorious in that prospect. Unfortunately for Sinner, he was trying to make 6 consecutive Grand Slam finals. That won't be the case. It will be 6 consecutive semifinals for Sinner, but he won't be able to make the finals. The first time since 2024 Wimbledon where he hasn't reached the final of a major. That's just incredible, the last year, you know, he's had on the tour. And so Sinner will depart. The final is set. Alcaraz versus Djokovic. And look, there was a point, you know, there was a real point at, you know, probably in the 5th set of that Alcaraz-Zverev match where you might have been thinking, looks like the final is going to be Zverev versus Sinner, and it's really the complete opposite. It's Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic going at it. And let's start to preview this matchup now. And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to in this matchup is who's going to be more offensive. Is Alcaraz going to be the one that gets out onto the front foot, or is Djokovic the one? And the physical factors are going to be really interesting, which we'll get to in a second. But let's now move over here as I get it ready to a tale of the tape where we will rank Alcaraz or Djokovic higher in a certain category. And here it is, Alcaraz versus Djokovic, tale of the tape. We'll go through these 6 categories: serve, return, forehand, backhand, movement, volleys, and touch. And we'll see who I think is better in the categories. And so let's go to serve now. And I actually like Djokovic in this category on the serve. Now, both of these guys are looking really impressive. Alcaraz has served incredible. He can really pump his serve. But Djokovic is just a little bit more proven on his serve in the last few years, especially with the spot serving. It's looked really good. It was really good against Sinner. I expect it to be on a similar level when he takes on Alcaraz. Same thing with the return. It's just Djokovic being more proven on the return. Alcaraz is a great returner, don't get me wrong. It's just Djokovic being more proven and having the track record in this case, especially in Australia. So I like him on the return. Forehand, you got to go Alcaraz. He's kind of got everything over Djokovic. He's got more spin, he's got more speed, he's got more width. He can really take Novak off the court. I mean, he can take anyone off the court with the forehand that he possesses. So you have to go with him there. Backhand, I think you got to go with Djokovic. It is Alcaraz's backhand is looking really good, by the way, since he came back from the offseason. It's looking really good. It's looking consistent. But again, Djokovic just more proven. I like him in backhand-to-backhand rallies. When it comes to movement now, this is pretty clear. It's Alcaraz who would lead in this category. Djokovic, of course, with his age now at 38 years young, he's not going to be moving as well as he was 10 years ago. And Alcaraz right now at 22 years old is probably moving the best he ever will. So I've got to like Alcaraz because he's probably the best mover on tour, if we're honest. And same thing for the volleys and the touch. It just comes so natural for him. Didn't come so natural for Novak. He's really improved in that category. It's gotten really good, but I like Alcaraz in that category, and so it's pretty split down the even. If we take a look at here, Djokovic on serve return backhand, Alcaraz on forehand movement and volleys and touch, and I don't know who starts favorite as this one, because we must address that Alcaraz is coming in with the cramps, we believe, but we don't know. It could be an injury. We're not quite sure because we didn't really get official word on him as to what it exactly was. So curious to see if that will hinder him in the final. For Djokovic, he wasn't really injured at all. He did appear to be, losing his legs towards the end, but I think that's just because of how the match was going, the physicality of it, and just how long it was going. Now, both of these guys, of course, are coming off really long matches. Alcaraz, 5.5 hours. Djokovic, 4 hours. So some long matches. Now, of course, Djokovic is the older one. He probably will probably need a longer time to recover for the final, and he does have a little bit less time as well than Carlos, just because they were the night match, and they were delayed as well because of how long Carlos and Sasha went. They finished at about 2 a.m. or 1:30, I think it was. They finished, and Djokovic would have had to done all his press and all of that afterwards. So he probably would have gotten to the hotel at about 4 a.m., I would assume. So hopefully Djokovic gets in a good night's sleep. I think he's going to just focus more on recovery. I don't think he'll probably do a 30-minute hit, maybe. Maybe they'll do a 30-minute hit, but I don't think Djokovic needs to do too much, especially at this stage of his career. So I think they'll just do a 30-minute hit. They'll just focus more on recovery and getting Novak in tip-top shape, as best as possible shape that he can be in for Sunday. Because history is going to be made, everyone, on Sunday. Either Carlos Alcaraz is going to win a career slam and become the youngest man ever to do it, or Novak Djokovic is going to win a 25th major, which no one in the history of tennis has ever done before. So what a final, once again, we've got here between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. Head-to-head is 5-4. It is, of course, in favor of Djokovic. Alcaraz won the last time they played at the U.S. Open. It was in the semifinals, and it was a pretty comprehensive win for Carlos, 4-6-2. So he looked really good in that one. And one of the things in that match that was a factor was Novak kind of losing his legs a little bit, especially towards the end of that match. And Carlos, of course, we've probably never seen a higher level from him since that at that U.S. Open. We've probably never seen a higher level from him in that U.S. Open than we have at any other tournament. Now, the Australian Open, he was actually looking pretty similar to that level until the Zverev match and until the cramps came. So it's going to be really interesting to see who recovers better. And because we don't know what Alcaraz necessarily has, it's going to be difficult to tell. But I do hope that both players are healthy for Sunday, because that'll just make the quality better. So hopefully both guys are healthy and raring to go for the final on Sunday. I think recovery is just the most important. When we come to the matchup now, it's actually going to be a cold day. I don't think it's going to reach above 70 degrees. And of course, the final is going to be at night. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. So it's going to be, the players won't have to deal with the sun. There may be some wind as well, which both guys I don't think will like. I think Djokovic, though, more. He doesn't like to play in the wind. We've seen in the past that he really hates to play in the wind. So that might play a factor. I think the colder conditions definitely favor Djokovic more, though, because Alcaraz is. Let's just assume both guys are healthy. Alcaraz is going to want the conditions to be hotter because he likes the physicality, but particularly his forehand. He can't do quite the same damage with his forehand in the night as he can with the day because of the RPMs and the width that he can get on his forehand during the day. His ball really jumps when it's hot and during the day. So at night, it's not going to have that same kind of jump that it can in the daytime. So I think that'll help Novak. And of course, this match is just going to be, can Novak get on the offense and keep Alcaraz from doing that? Because Novak, I don't think his legs will be 100% just because of how long this match went. So we'll see about that. Djokovic did talk about today, the win against Sinner, kind of feeling like a big win already for him and kind of feeling like he won the final in a sense. And I just wonder if that'll play a factor coming into Sunday because, of course, he's going for 25. And I think he's going to put his heart, soul, and mind into it. So too Carlos, but I think particularly Novak in this situation because it does feel like his final chance. But I think the way Novak reacted after that match and the way he was talking in certain scenarios, it did kind of seem like, is he happy to be in the final? We'll have to wait and see. I don't think so because I think Djokovic is one of the most motivated players we've ever seen in tennis history. And as he goes for history on Sunday, I sense that it is his final chance to get it done. Maybe he'll have a chance at Wimbledon again, but I like the way he'd been looking here. Remember, he had the fortune of not having to play, not having to play against Jakub Menchik in the round of 16, and then of course the quarterfinals. That was massive for him. He was on his way home, as he said himself, after dropping the opening couple sets to Lorenzo Musetti. He was playing a fantastic match, but unfortunately for Musetti, getting injured in that third set and having to retire. Very similar to Sinner at Wimbledon when he played Dimitrov, and he would have to retire there. Dimitrov, of course, down or up 2 sets on Sinner, and of course Sinner going on to win that. So is Novak Djokovic going to repeat what Sinner did at Wimbledon? We shall see. It definitely feels like fortune has been on his side during this tournament, and he's into yet another Grand Slam final. And Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic, they'll play, I believe it's a third Grand Slam final because they played in Wimbledon, of course, back-to-back years, 23 and 24. And it's Novak's first Slam final since Wimbledon in 24. So he ends that drought, and it's going to be a fun final against Carlos Alcaraz. And they both, of course, get along really well. They've got great respect for each other, and so they had that great moment, of course, after Carlos won, where Novak congratulated him. So it's really exciting. Look, I guess I'm going to make my prediction right now. Alcaraz, Djokovic, man, it's tough, but look, it feels a little bit like the Olympics now as we've gotten to this scenario in the finals where you just knew Djokovic was going to put his heart, soul, and mind into that matchup. It kind of felt like no one was going to beat him that day. And here in Australia, it's kind of feeling similar. And I think coming into it, I think Carlos Alcaraz has more question marks coming into it. I really do, because we never got a final word on whether it was cramps or whether it was an injury. And so I'm going to pick Djokovic to win this in 4. And I don't know. I'm not necessarily confident on it. Just like the U.S. Open, I wasn't confident that Sinner would win, and he didn't win. And I'm not confident here. And Alcaraz could come out and destroy Novak. You know, that is a possibility if Novak's legs aren't 100%. But I think Alcaraz has more question marks, and I think Djokovic is going to like this, and I think he senses it's his final chance, and I think he's going to want it really badly. So I'm going to pick him in 4, and let's not forget, last year Djokovic and Alcaraz played. Now, of course, this wasn't the same Alcaraz, but they played, and Djokovic came in as a pretty big underdog in that one as well, and he still pulled it off Djokovic in 4 sets, and he was injured as well. So that was an impressive feat from Djokovic. Let's not forget about that one. So he's going to have that in his head, that the last time we played here, I was the one who got the win and not you, Carlos. So I think he's going to have that in his mind. And I think he's going to be incredibly motivated to get this done because, once again, I do feel like it's going to be his final chance. But yeah, I'm going to pick Djokovic to win this one in 4. I'm not 100% confident, but it just feels like fortune is on his side during this tournament. It feels like he's kind of supposed to win this tournament. That's what it feels like, to get that 25th major. And to kind of just shut everyone up that tells him to retire. Because over the last couple of years, we've been seeing so many people online telling Djokovic that he should retire and asking him, when are you going to retire? And he's made another Grand Slam final. So he's already shut everyone up with that. And he's going to try to become one of the oldest men ever to win. I think he might actually become the oldest man ever to win a major if he does win on Sunday. So that's something to look out for. I will have to check the stats on that. But what a final we've got. Alcaraz, Djokovic. Not something people would have expected maybe about 16 or 17 hours ago. That's probably not what some people were expecting. But that's what we've got on our hands here in the Australian Open men's final. And we're looking forward to it. Now, I will be back after that match. Not sure exactly when. But it will be, of course, a full-length episode. We have to, of course, cover the final in a full-length episode because there's so much to it. So that will be done for sure. I don't think it'll be another live episode. I think I'll just do a recording. But we did have a comment in the chat from Sarah, and I think I know who this is. And she says, I agree, think it could have been 4 sets. And that was, of course, in reference to the Alcaraz versus Zverev match, where I actually predicted that Alcaraz would win in 4. And so I think she was probably thinking the same thing. And so, Sarah, if you're still watching, hi. Hope you are doing well. And yeah, it's been a great stream so far. And looking forward to this final. We'll be back after it. Will probably not be much content in February. But then in March, I of course I will be at Indian Wells and we'll be putting out a lot of content there. But yeah, I don't think there's much to go over. What a win for Carlos Alcaraz. What a win for Novak Djokovic. They're set to play in a blockbuster final on Sunday. History will be made. We'll either have the youngest man ever to win the career slam, or we'll have the first man ever to win 25 majors. Yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Remember, we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We've been releasing so many videos there in the past couple of weeks. The quick roundups, the previews for the quarters and semis. So make sure you go back and watch those if you haven't already. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, I'm back. I was about to sign off, and then we just had someone else in the comments just come. Bro, this final battle be lit. Yeah. It's really, really exciting. Because as I just mentioned before, I just went off. History is going to be made. We're either going to have someone win 25 majors, or we're going to have the youngest man ever to win a career slam. And of course, Alcaraz and Djokovic have played some real epics in the past as well. The Wimbledon final in 2023, what a match that was. But anyways, yeah, I am going to sign off. I was actually signing off. I just saw someone write in the comments, and so I wanted to address that. But anyways, I'm going to sign off here. What a credible final we'll have on Sunday. Looking forward to it, and I will see you in the next one.